Dr. Singh and Brassington arrived at the Georgetown Magistrates Court, all smiles, just before their arraignment to face 3 charges of misconduct in public office by way of an agreement of sale and purchase of land when they sold millions of dollars worth of state land without first having procured a valuation of properties from a competent valuation officer. But by the time the arraignment was over, their facial expressions changed. The men left the courtroom of Chief Magistrate Anne McLennan in chains as they were escorted to the magistrate's court holding cell. Inside the courtroom, a battery of lawyers made several applications for reasonable bail to be granted to the 2 men. Attorney-at-law Anil Nandalal pointed out that officials of SOCU up to Tuesday were not able to issue the men with summonses. Nandalal said his clients voluntarily came to the court to answer their charges. Nandalal requested that the Administration of Justice Act AJA be applied so as to allow his clients the opportunity to plead to the indictable charge. Prosecutor Trishan Lake in response said because the investigation is still ongoing, applying the AJA would be immature, especially since statements cannot be released at this juncture. Lake further requested that bail should be granted in a substantial amount due to the fact that the men are both subjects in other ongoing investigations. The Chief Magistrate granted the request of the prosecution and denied the application of the AJA. She, however, granted bail in the sum of $6 million each, $2 million for every charge, a total of $12 million in bail. Meanwhile, outside of the court, several persons held a picketing exercise. Nandalal believes that instead of granting the substantial amount in bail, the Chief Magistrate could have taken a different course of action.
If you wanted them to prevent them from traveling, then you should have perhaps remanded them or take their passports. But to impose a punitive sum as bail is tantamount to refusing bail. Significantly, when one reads the charge, if they are to prove everything that they say on that charge sheet, it does not amount to an offense in law. It does not amount to misconduct in public office.
If found guilty, Brassington and Dr. Singh could face 1 year each on every charge. Former President Donald Ramotar is of the opinion that the 2 men are being targeted.
If the DPP could have dismissed the charge against the ministers, which we think are far more serious than they have done actually nothing, because they have been working with the board in the case of Brassington and with the cabinet in the case of Ashley Singh. So they have committed no crime, and this is what we're seeing happening here today.
Former Prime Minister Samuel Hines pointed to the development that occurred at the acres of land that was allegedly sold by the 2 men. Hines believes that the men were acting in accordance with what was good for the country.
I ask that everyone looks and see the development that was done in that Lilliandale, Pattinson area. Giffland Mall has been one of the developments that took place. And the Giffland Mall rate of sale is at an even lower unit price than for these 3 that appear on the charges. And it took place at a later time.
Meanwhile, both Dr. Singh and Brassington were able to post bail. They will make their next court appearance on June 5 at the Georgetown Magistrates Court for reports. Javon Vickery, HGP Nightly News.